Hello everyone, welcome here. Today, we are going to play some old school RuneScape. Yeah. Luckily, my internet appears to be working. At least enough to stream. We've been having weird issues all day where sites have been just randomly taking large amounts of time to load, or they just straight up won't load, or you can ping certain addresses and not others, and as best we can tell, there's a router somewhere in our ISP's network that is being flaky. And until they fix that, well, sucks to be us, I guess. But when I tried to start a stream, it seemed to connect and start right up, so I guess we're good. But anyway, hopefully that continues. It's been a little weird. Like, I tried to log into the game earlier just to check something, and it straight up wouldn't connect. But then there was a brief little bit of time where I was able to connect. But once I was connected, it seemed to stay connected. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I suspect it's just random flakiness. But anyway. So hopefully, as long as I maintain connections to everything that matters, things won't break. Hopefully. So I did get a few KC last night, but I didn't get very many before I got another clue scroll. And I did do that earlier today, off stream. It's about the only thing I did today, in game anyway. I got a master clue out of that, so now I got to drag that around everywhere I go for a while. Until I get a second one. It's fairly unlikely that I can do a master clue. Just one. Like, there's a lot of steps that are not very plausible. But if I have at least two of them, the chances that I can finish them go way up. Because then if I had a step I just can't do, I can go to the other one and work on that one instead. Same reason why I don't do elite clues until I have two of them. Although with elite clues, it's much more likely I'll be able to finish one. There's a lot of master steps that will just be impossible. Okay, Torag in the tunnels. Damn it, Varak, knock it off. I don't want to have to eat any more food than I need to. I should probably go drop these Onyx tips and these Lunar Isle teleports over to our main. Just get them out of my inventory. If I get a drop of some other kind that's worth dropping over to the main, I'll do it then. But anyway. Now we equip our melee gear. Well, that's annoying. The farthest possible door we could have gotten. Oh well. Oh. Oh well. Need to kill one more skeleton, one more bloodworm, and then Torag himself. Speaking of which. Man. Melee gear back on. Okay, after this we need to deal with a bloodworm. We've got enough doors between here and our destination. We should find plenty of those. Unless we get absurdly unlucky. Oh, here we go. Alright. Now let's go to the chest in the center and grab our loot. Which hopefully includes a Guthan's spear, although the chances of that seem low. Yep, just some random ass runes. 695 KC. Okay. Oh, off we go again. Darok here is technically the most dangerous of the brothers. Because since his max hit goes up, the lower his health is. Most of the brothers can hit like a 20 something, low 20s. He can hit a 57 technically. He's on 1 HP and happens to hit you. Although, thankfully he can't hit through prayer. So most of the time, Varak is actually the most dangerous brother. Because he's the one that can hit you through prayer. Wish I had one of those. Twin Flame Staff is what this guy's using. It does extra damage to creatures that have an elemental weakness. And these guys have an elemental weakness to air. Which is why I'm using air spells on them. It's got some special weird mechanics where it can hit more than once for every attack if the creature has an elemental weakness. However, I'm not going to bother trying to grind out a twin flame staff on this account. I'll probably eventually end up going to that boss, the boss that drops it, the Royal Titans, but only because they also drop some upgrades that I do actually need. Okay, Torag Tunnel again. We're definitely not going in there right now. Kill the other stuff off first. Oops. I equipped my melee weapon instead of my staff. Yeah, most of the time the only place we're going to take any appreciable damage is here at Varak. Technically there's a way to do him without taking any damage at all. It's just way slower than just accepting that you might take some damage, and even when you account for the need to get more food and stuff like that. Basically what you would do is you would freeze him in place with a snare spell or whatever, and you'd run around to the other side of the coffin. And then there's a deal you can do where you step out, you snare him, and then you can hit him a certain number of times and run around to the next side of the coffin. Step out, snare him, repeat. It's fairly slow, but straightforward. And usually, to make it even safer, you would bring along like a dragon spear or something if you have it. And then you can use the dragon spear spec to stun him temporarily when he first spawns in. And that gives you more time to run away. That little... I traded blows with that frickin' skeleton. Why did the stupid rat get on me? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Where's the door? Over there? Not quite as far away as it could possibly be, but... Oops. Okay, whatever. Bloodworm, we'll kill it. Yeah, technically this door could be the one we need to go to, but... Well, I'd say there's like 2 doors. Okay. We just kill these 2 skeletons and then we can book it over to that door. Well, we still need to kill Torag, but he's a pushover. Alright, fine. We're not going to bother with that skeleton. Let's just keep going. We can kill this one instead. I really don't like the way that single-way combat works in this game when you are in a room full of aggressive creatures. So like multi-way combat means that you can attack more than one creature and they can attack you back, basically. Or more than one creature can attack you. Single-way combat means no matter what, only one creature can ever attack you, and you can only ever attack one creature at a time. And so to attack a different... If a creature is attacking you, to attack a different creature, you have to get them to stop attacking you for a certain amount of time so you get out of combat, and then you can go attack something else. And that can be problematic. Okay. Let's head up here to the chest. And more runes. 696. Alright, we have a shark. There should be enough food. Technically, you really wouldn't need any food here if I had the upgraded pool, but I don't, so. Get dark in the tunnels. Yeah. So that pool I have in my POH that I use every time I go back there. Currently it restores my prayer, all my stats, any drain stats I may have, my run energy, special attack, although that's not relevant here. Basically everything except my health. But if I upgrade to the next tier of pool, then it would upgrade health, then it would heal health as well. The problem is the next tier of pool requires 87 herb lore to make the potions you need to upgrade it. And I only have 81. So technically if I got 82 herb lore, I could do a +5 boost and make the potions I need. But I'd also need to kill Zora and get some Zora scales so I could actually make the potions. Which is not impossible. It would just, well, I need to kill Zora anyway. There's just no point trying to kill Zora now, not until I have another herb lore level. But once I do get another herb lore level or two, like I am almost 82, then it would make sense to go try to kill Zora, get some Zora scales, and then run around and gather all the stuff I need to make the potions I need. They're not easy potions to make, but I've got some of the materials, the harder materials to get, just kind of laying around. Or at least the potential to get those materials laying around. If I work correctly, you need coconut milk in a vial, which I think I have a coconut tree planted somewhere. And if I don't, it's not that hard to get one. And then you need to that you need to add some herb. I don't remember which one. But it's usually not that hard to get. Whatever random herb you might need. I've got a bunch of different ones in the bag and seeds for more of them just laying around. Actually, we can just check right now, find out what it is. Okay, we need antidote plus, which is like 79 right there. Irrit leaf. Okay, I think I have either some irrits or some irrit seeds. I do have irrit seeds, okay. Which means I probably don't have irrits in the bag. Yeah, no I don't. So I just plant some I just plant irrit seed and boom, there we go. We have the irrits we need. So you need a vial of coconut milk, which do I have any coconuts planted? I do have coconuts planted, multiple of them. Okay, that's even better. Some in Brimhaven, some in Moletta, and some in Turnhill Village. So I could easily get the coconut milk. It's a pain in the ass to make coconut milk, but I only need a little bit of it. Then grow probably 2 irits would get me plenty of irits for that. Make the unfinished irit potions, and then add magic tree roots to that. I do have a ton of magic trees planted. Like 6 of them, apparently. So that's all the magic roots you'd need, and then some. And that would give me my antidote plus pluses, which I could make those right now. I have the levels. It's like what? What was it, 79? Yeah, 79. So I could make the antidote plus pluses right now. But then I need 87 to make the anti-venom. And I believe the ornate rejuvenation pool requires 10 antivenoms, yeah. Also, it needs level 90 to build, so I would need to get a +5 construction boost, but that's not hard. You can get much better than that, I think, by combining Saw and a POHT. So actually getting the construction boost would be trivial. The Herbivore boost would be the big one. So I guess I need 10,000 more Herbivore XP, and then I can upgrade my pool if I kill Zora. I might need to kill Zora a couple times. Let me check. I mangled that name, I think. Yeah, see how slow that was? And that wasn't even, that was pretty fast compared to normally. And it's not loading. Oh, no. Okay, I did load the wiki. There were some points earlier today where loading the RuneScape wiki took multiple minutes. Zora scales. Always 100 to 299. Okay. So average about 200 scales per kill. Which would be, I believe, enough to upgrade an antivenom. So if we got, at least didn't get unlucky, 1 Zora kill would be enough to upgrade the pool. DNS issues? I don't know. As best we've been able to find out, it's possibly related to something at our ISP. Because earlier today, I was pinging different well-known IPs, trying to figure out if only certain things are working, or no matter what, pinging Cloudflare, instant. But like Google DNS 8.8.8.8 would sometimes work and sometimes not. And then it was reporting, you know, some server in ISP's network was reporting destination network unreachable. So it might be just, it could be DNS flakiness. But like my phone works perfectly. Well, okay, so what I was pinging by IP were DNS servers. So that doesn't rule out DNS, because it could be they just weren't able to reach certain DNS servers. But I think we're using Cloudflare DNS here. not our ISP's DNS. So it... Yeah. I'm not sure what the exact configuration is. There's definitely... I'm pretty sure it's nothing to do with our system configuration, though. Just some servers aren't routing properly through the ISP. But it's intermittent, too. So, I don't know. Some blood runes, a little bit of money. Sure, whatever. KC 697. But yeah, I don't think it's actually like... Yeah, I don't think it's DNS. Oh, I'm out of food too. Let's go grab some more food. Actually, I'm tired of this crap in my inventory. Let's go drop some shit to the main. None of this is valuable, but... Damn it, why did I teleport to the G? I want to go to Varrock. Whatever. Hello? Are you going to start the client? Bolt? Okay, fine. Let's kill and restart Bolt. There we go. That was weird. Oh. Of course. When the client starts, it needs to download some stuff. You may see the problem with this. Well, there's a good chance if we leave it set for a while, it'll start. But I don't really want to just sit here doing nothing while I wait. And also a good chance it's not 100%, so... Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go do another run. And if the client's up by then, great. And if not, well, that sucks. Well. Burned a shark. I am running low on sharks. Either I need to go get more shark, or more likely we'll just go back to buying potatoes every few runs. The sharks are more convenient in a lot of ways. And I don't really think there's... Okay, here we go. Let's go set this trade up. Assuming it'll let me log in. Yeah. Not sure why I didn't think of this. Probably because I'm like logged into the game and everything's going perfectly fine here. It's the act of making the connection that's the problem. Once you have a connection, it seems to route fine. Like, let me test something here. Okay, pinging 1 dot works beautifully. Pinging 8 dot, aka Google DNS, nothing. Okay. Pinging google.com. It got us an IP. And beautiful, works perfectly. Trace it to see where it's failing. Well, if we were to wait long enough here, it would report where it would fail. The coworker was messing around with traceroute earlier, and it's failing in the ISP system, so it's not on our network where it's falling over. That's about all I know about it. BingCloudFlare.com. It is taking it a while to query DNS. Yep. Okay, now we're getting responses. Like, that seems pretty slow sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. It's been super flaky all day. We'll try once more to log in, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and I'll have to be annoyed. Yeah, here we go. 74 36 197 157. Destination net unreachable. And I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the ISP network. But anyway, that definitely should not be happening for 8.8.8.8 though. Oh well. I don't know if we have IPv6 here. Which is weird. But I know it's not routed to my PC. Yeah. This is definitely a Frontier system. 7436197757. Was that the same server as before? That was... I should have kept that tab open. Oh well. Let's try that again, see if we get the same error. Like, see if the IPs match. I'm not sure if anyone's actually... I'm pretty sure somebody's yelled at the ISP over it, but I should probably double check. Because it is very annoying. What wizard did you just walk into? You've walked into my internet being flaky and weird. Right, I'm gonna try logging in one more time. Yeah, you'll get different IPs because it'll be routing to different service, servers. It'll give you an IP for one that's relatively, in theory, close to you. Usually how it works. Also, I need to change this so it doesn't use these stupid short form. I don't remember how to configure that. What is the name of the system this uses? I don't remember the name of the theme Manjaro uses for its console anymore. Okay, there we got what I wanted. 7436197157. Yep, that's the same damn IP that's been reporting all day long. Every time we get a destination network unreachable error. So I'm not sure if it's this server that's flaky or yeah. And now nothing is working. What is the name of that damn... Well, here's a way to find out. Here. That's more likely to get what I'm looking for. Power level 10K. There we go. That's what it's called. A very cool ZSH theme, by the way. Okay, here. I tried to Google something. It didn't work. It just sat there for the longest time. I Googled something different. Instant. Like I said, it's flaky. Probably have ICMP blocks, basic DDoS protection layer. Yeah, a lot of places have it like that. That would give me a different error than I'm getting. That would explain why survey couldn't ping it, yeah. Load the damn GitHub page. There we go. Nope. No. Still not loading. Why am I trying to fix this right now anyway? Because if I don't do it now, I'll forget about it. That's why. Okay. Where's the configuration instructions? Clearly I scrolled right past it. Okay. There we go. Does this look like a diamond? Yes. Does this look like a lock? Yes. Does this look like an upwards arrow? Yes. What digit is the downward arrow pointing to? It is pointing at 1. Do all these icons fit between the crosses? Yes. Prompt style. I want classic. I want Unicode. Probably 2. No time. Angled separators. Sharp ends. Flat tails. One-line prompts. Compact. Few icons. Concise. No transient prompt. Okay. There we go. Per fish over ZSH. Yeah. Blech. Okay. We should probably... Okay, it has the P10K part here at the bottom underneath the rest of this crap. That should work. Oh. There we go. Okay, if you open a new tab, yep. It's not the Manjaro default prompt, but that's fine, I don't care. I like 10K this way. There is a specific variable I could have set that would have just removed the concise prompt. I don't remember what it is, and I'm not going to go figure out what it is right now. I do like the Manjaro style prompt too, but this one's nice. Alright, anyway. We'll leave that tab open for now. Hope springs eternal. Yeah. Oh wait, nope, there we go. It loaded in. Okay. Got lucky. It worked. Apparently all you had to do was wait a little bit. And just pick the right moment. Alright, well then. Let's go to Varrock with this character as well, and we can get these crap out of our inventory. Ew, look at this ugly mane. Is there anything else I want to drop over? I don't think so, just those 2 items. Yeah. I've been playing around with my UI so that it properly anchors all the components, and so if I change the size, things don't get too weird. Which has been pretty nice. Before I had everything manually laid out, but I found a plugin a while ago that adds custom anchors. And so you can anchor things on your screen in custom positions relative to the edges now. For a long time it wasn't possible. Okay, got a little bit of crap. Let's go dump this in the bank. Let's make this window a little bit larger so it's not quite so weird. I need to play this character more. But I don't, because I have more interesting characters. This character's just a boring ass main and doesn't even have anything particularly cool. Oh well. Yeah, I did get a few cool things, but none of them are like special or anything. Should probably go turn the... Well, I need to go do a bunch of quests in this account too. I need to get this account leveled up so that I can use it to do certain quests, to practice them. Yeah, it's a... Okay. So accounts... Mains are often not actually people's main account. But people say when they say a main account, what they mean is their normal non-iron account. In my case, this is the first character I ever made. Well, the first old school character I ever made. Let's go over here. We don't have to have weirdos talking in the background. Yeah. So I created this character, played free-to-play for a little while. Free-to-play sucked ass. But I did manage to make enough money that I bought a bond and played members. And then I got a job. And then I was able to just buy membership. Well, actually, I played by making money to buy bonds for a little while. And then I stopped playing for several years, and then I got a job and decided to play RuneScape again some years after that. So there was a chunk of at least 3 or 4 years in between when I first played this account and when I played it again. And then after that, there's a chunk of several more years where I barely touched it because I'm playing other accounts like the UIM. But anyway, so this is the account I played on at first. My skills are not particularly great. I do have fairly high fairly high crafting. Mining is of course maxed out. My combats are horrible. Magic is not great, but it's higher than a lot of things. Farming is 96. Surprisingly close to 99 farming. Largely because for a long time I did daily farm runs, even after I had otherwise mostly stopped playing the account. Really, my stats on this account are horrible. If we look over here, Can I set this to show quests that I don't meet the requirements for? I don't think so. Yeah, I haven't done any of the sailing quests yet, which I should do. Because I haven't played this seriously since sailing was added. Shadows of Custodia, because I haven't played this account since Varlamore, honestly. Beneath Cursed Sands is partially completed. I need to actually go do that. I'm much better at the game than when last time I tried, so I probably can complete it now. Curse of Arav is new since I played. Monkey Madness 2, for some reason I never finished. Probably could have thought it was harder than it was back then. Night at the Theater, never done. I've done that on the UAM and the GIM since then. But I need to go do that. Dragon Slayer 2, I've never done in any account. I'd like to get this to the place where I could do Dragon Slayer 2. Like have the gear and stuff. Just so I can know what the boss fights are like for when I do it on the UAM. Secrets of the North, same kind of deal. I've never done Making Friends with My Arm on this account. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff I need to get done on this account, purely so that I can... like, particularly, I want to use this to practice Dragon Slayer 2. So I can do it on the UAM later. And also Desert Treasure 2. Same deal. I want to practice it on this account so I know what I'm getting into when I go to do it on the UAM. Dragon Slayer 2 and Desert Treasure 2 are the big ones. Monkey Madness I've already done on the UAM, obviously. Also, I would like to do some parts of... oh, whatever it's called. Final Dawn. Before I do them in the UAM. But my stats are terrible, so... and the new quest that was just added, I definitely want to try to do the boss fight for that. On this account, probably. Let's see, it's Blood... here, let's sort this A to Z. So I can find what I'm actually looking for. Oh, it's not listed in here yet, of course, because it's not been actually... we'll have to go look it up in the actual quest list. The Blood Moon Rises. I need to do Night at the Theater. I need level 74 Slayer, which I don't have. I'm only like 60 something. And recommended combat level 110. Which I could probably do it lower than that, but it wouldn't be that easy. I definitely need to train my combats up. Oh well. That is a problem for some other time, Milo. The problem is playing the main is just less interesting than playing the UAM. And therefore, I am just less likely to do it. But I should definitely start like AFKing at Gemstone Crab or something when I'm doing other things on the computer. Get my combat levels up. And then maybe like do some Slayer on the side or something occasionally. Okay, we do not want to enter that. Guthan in the tunnels. We'll come back to him later. But anyway. I really want to oh. It's like one reason why I don't like playing on the main. It feels like a waste of time. I don't really care about that account. Except in so much as it would be kind of nice to have it higher level, I guess. I don't really want to play it. It's not really very interesting. And playing it, I do very much want to max my UIM. And so spending time leveling skills on the main, it just feels like I'm wasting time that I could have spent leveling the UIM instead. That's not necessarily the case, but it just feels that way. And particularly for quests and stuff, it would be extremely handy to be able to do them on the main first, so I know how the quest boss fights and stuff go. I have a feel for them first, and then I can do them on the UIM where it's harder. I have less inventory space to go around, stuff like that. Like really, there's no particular reason why it would be harder to do things on the UIM than on the main, except that the UIM, it's much more annoying to get back and get your stuff and all that kind of stuff if you die. And so if you die to a quest boss on the main, okay, that's annoying, but not that big of a deal. You die to a quest boss on the UIM, it's still not that big of a deal, but it's a much bigger production. And so it's just so much nicer to get your learning out of the way where it's going to be less painful instead of where it's more. And it's more... It's much less of a deal to have more free inventory space as well on the main. So you can bring more food and stuff like that. And you've got more room to fail. Not only is it easier to recover when you do fail, but it's less pain or less likely to fail in the first place. It's like playing a hardcore, but not as punishing. The only thing you lose when you die on the UIM is time, instead of your whole character hardcore status. Anyway. Hello, Gotham. Give me your spear. Not that way. I mean, like, give it to me so I can have it. Oh, there's UIM Tom Nook. Where did I see him earlier? Did we see him in Barrows? I think so. Anyway. It's a fellow cool person with a cool white helm. And nothing. Just some runes. Alright. Around and around we go. Back to the beginning to do it all again. Hopefully this time for more reward. Okay, what is the actual chance to get? Okay, there are 7 times for a 1 in 2400. So technically, if you went on rate, by the time you open 2400 chests, you would have 7 of each item. In reality, of course, it's not going to be that neat. A supposed rate to get a complete set of a specific type, not just any complete set, is 1 in 728. Any complete set is like 1 in, is it 300 and something or 600 and something? I don't remember. Look it up here. One of any set is 1 in 313. A specific set is 1 in 728. All 6 sets, aka expected number to green log, is 1300. So I don't want to green log this. I just want one specific set. And I don't want to go dry on it either. Ugh. There's another guy in the clan who's going dry, trying to green log. He's at like 2000 something KC. I don't want that to be me. Because there is always the chance that the spear will end up being the last item I need to green log Barrows. And I'll just be stuck here endlessly trying to get that spear. Just going it safely dry. Ugh. I haven't actually plugged my current KC and drop count into the dry calculator for a while. Let's see, it's a 1 in 1457, yeah. Okay, number of kills, 698. Drops obtained thus far is 40. Oops. There we go. National emergency has been declared in your drop log. Okay, it's not actually that bad. I mean, we're dry overall, but an 86% chance of 86.7% chance of having gotten more drops than we've gotten. That's way better than what it used to be. It used to be into like the 90s. And at one point it was just horrible. There was one point back around oh, was it like 300 and some KC, or was it 400 even? Where, if you calc it out, it was like 99 point something % chance that I would have gotten more drops than I'd gotten. Since then, we've recovered a lot of ground, although it's still definitely not a good place to be. Okay, air in the tunnels, which I don't like, but oh well. Okay, doors aren't too far away. Okay. After this, gotta kill one bloodworm. There's one over there we might be able to get. Ooh. Oh, I'll air him. I'd really like to bring my crystal bow for this, but I'd have to bring some range armor as well, which I could do by bringing the void helmet. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Ugh. It would be -2 slots of inventory though. And all it would do is make Aram marginally faster. Okay. Yeah, that spot on the floor over there is where we'll build the stash unit that we will store our armor in eventually. 699. Ugh. Ugh. Man. Really need to stop getting distracted by every random thing along the way. Crank these KC out. It's the only way I'm ever going to get that spear. At least the rune rewards here are pretty decent. I wonder how much difference it would make. DPS calc. Okay. I do have that plugin. That's weird. This used to work before. Yeah, WikiSync is on. And I gave you permission. Let's refresh this again. There we go. Weird. WebSocket connection to fail. WebSocket closed before connection is established. Weird. Surely it's not because I'm running 2 copies of RuneLite, is it? Let's kill the copy with the main. You should be able to find both copies and communicate to them both. There we go. That must have actually been it. Okay, weird. Okay. Let's make sure we're set up correctly on both of these tabs. And then here. Let's see what happens if you add an air battle staff instead of an air staff. It would be... a 1% more chance to hit. Not quite even. It would be a 62.27 instead of a 61.42% chance to hit. So it's not worth going to upgrade to a better staff. It would be like 5% more to upgrade to the Amulet of Glory, though. Which is probably not worth it. Also, I am distracting myself with things that aren't just doing borrows again. It really doesn't help that I find doing borrows like this to be dreadfully boring. And while... yeah. There's a lot of boring things to do in this game, but most of them are a lot less boring than this. This is the wrong kind of boring. It's the kind that requires you to pay at least a little bit of attention to what's going on. Okay, it's Torag in the tunnels again. That's good. Like, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of thinking involved here, but also it's more attention involved than I'd like. And it's not even really that, though. I just really don't like most PVM in this game. Like, I would vastly prefer to go bang out, say, Mahogany Homes for hours on end. Is Mahogany Homes more interesting than this? No. Does it... does it require less attention? No. It probably requires more, even. But what it does have is low variance. So it's fairly easy to calculate from where I'm at right now. I need to do approximately X number more contracts to reach my goal. And with every one you do, you can take a little check mark off your number that you're going to have to do. And be more or less correct. You might be a little high or a little low at the end because there is some variance. But it's pretty restricted. You can calculate to a fairly high degree of certainty exactly how long it's going to take you to do something. With this chest that we're going to open up here in a second could have the thing we need, and we could be done. Or it might not happen for another 1,000 chests. Or not even then. There's no way to know. And I, for one, am massively not a fan of that. Why am I praying protect from magic against this idiot? Whatever. Okay. 700 KC. Like, if I was to go here, just to use Mahogany Homes as an example. Go on, Google. There we go. Is this the calculator I want? I think it's a calculator on the wiki is what I actually want. Oh, okay, here we go. Somewhere on this page, I believe. I don't remember if it's in a table or if it's just in a paragraph somewhere. Gives average XP per plank, which is nice, I guess. But there was somewhere where I would learn where it gave you average XP per contract. I guess I could dig through the page and try to find it. I remember finding it before. And I'm pretty sure it's on this page. XP per hour as calculated by people who are much more active than I am. Thought it was here. There we go. All right. My goal is, let's say I want to go to 99. Method, mahogany homes. Okay. Using adept contracts, which is the most, what do you call it? Each contract should give us approximately this much XP. I would need to do about 3,000 contracts. And it would take me roughly this number of teak planks and that number of steel bars. And if I bought them all in the GE, it would cost me 30 million, but I've calculated it up myself for if I bought the teak planks myself, and it's more like half that or less. A little more maybe. I think it's a bit more than half that actually. It's like 17 million or something. But like, okay, there you go. 3,000 contracts. That's not roughly how many contracts it's going to take. That is fairly closely to exactly how many contracts it'll take. So while you can go to the Barrow's chest page and it will tell you, oh yeah, if you go on rate, it'll be this number of chests before you get your stuff. That's purely on statistics. Whereas for the mahogany home calculator there, it's not going off of statistically you're likely to get it at this number of contracts. It is going on a much more certain calculation than that. I mean, sure, there's still some statistical chance that you would go more contracts or less contracts than that to get the actual amount you need, because some contracts are worth more than others and some are worth less. But they're close enough in value that there's not much variance. You could maybe go 100 each way or something. And I am a giant fan of reducing variance as much as possible. Because somebody, when there's a lot of variance, some people will get lucky. That might be you. But at the same time, somebody is going to be in that 1% who goes disgustingly dry. And while it might not be you, sometimes it will be. And statistically, if you do enough grinds, it's going to hit you eventually. And that sucks. And that is why I generally like skilling more than PVM. Now, if you could control the variance a lot more, then I wouldn't mind as much. And Jagex has made some attempts to control variance at certain things, but usually it just applies to one piece of content if they do. So, for example, yeah, also they usually do a horrible job at it. So, the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, you can fight them after the quest, and they drop various things, including some stuff you need to make some special rings. I don't remember what all the rings are. but they're pretty decent combat rings from what I understand. And the way they drop is that you have to roll the ring 3 separate times before you actually get the drop. It used to be it didn't tell you when you rolled it. It just did invisible rolls until you got your 3rd roll, and then boom, you got it. Nowadays it drops a gold ring for you if you hit the ring table. And then when you hit the ring table a 2nd time, it drops 2 rings. And when you hit it the 3rd time, you get the actual ring you're trying to get. That is a very ass system. Because on the one hand, particularly when they didn't tell you how many times you'd hit the table, because you could never get your ring faster than 3 kills, and that's if you like hit it every single kill, hit the table every single kill. And if you just happen to go dry, you had 3 separate chances to go dry. Statistically, it basically resulted in the bell curve being a lot steeper. You were much more likely to be in that middle than you were to be out on one end or the other. But that's ignoring a couple important realities. Reality number 1, somebody is still going to be out there on those ends. And then reality number 2 is that it's really nice to get spooned something and get it early. And that kind of multiple rolls required basically makes it much, much rarer that you can get lucky and get it early. Sure, it makes you less likely to go dry, but it also prevents you from spooning it. And then add in the fact you can't even tell how many rolls you've hit. Who knows? You could be on your 1st roll. You could be on your 2nd roll and could get it any moment. Or you might not have ever hit the table at all. When they added the feature that you would roll gold rings every time you hit the table but didn't get the actual reward, there were a whole bunch of people who would run out and kill one of the bosses to see how close they were on a ring. And they would get dropped nothing. Because they made it so that it would drop on your 1st kill after they changed the system to drop the gold rings. They made it so they would drop the number of gold rings as hits on the table you had made. So if you killed the boss and it didn't drop a ring, that meant you hadn't hit the table ever. So a bunch of people found out that they were extremely dry, rather than just a little dry. And obviously that wasn't a very good feeling. Even worse was the few people who were already dry. And then they found out they were drier than they thought they were. So in many ways, that system is... basically, it's less dry protection and more spoon protection. It just doesn't feel very good, which is why people don't like it. Alternatively, there's systems like the Moon's Apparel have, where there's no real dry protection in place. However, for your first of a given set of armor, you can't roll duplicates until you have a whole set. So if you roll a piece of Blood Moon armor, you will get a piece of Blood Moon armor you don't already have until you have a complete set of Blood Moon armor, at which point you'll just roll whatever. Which, if Barrows had a system like that, I'd probably be done here already. Because if you look at my collection log, yeah, I have a duplicate Guthan's plate body. That would have been a Guthan's War Spear instead if it couldn't roll a duplicate within a set. I have 3 Verax flails. I would have 2 other Verax pieces probably. I have 5 Darex Great Axes. I definitely would have had a complete Darex set. I'd basically be almost green-logged at this place if it worked the same way as Moons. But alas, it does not, so I'm here for who knows how much longer. That's just the way it is. So the Moon system is pretty good. It doesn't actually protect you from going dry. It just makes it so that at least you're not going to see a ton of duplicates along the way. You can still see some duplicates, but they'll be from sets other than the one you're missing a piece of. At least. The system I'm honestly more in favor of would be if they made it so that you cannot go more than 5x dry on a given drop. Because if you look in statistically how many people are likely to go 5x dry for something, it's a tiny, tiny percentage. And going that dry for something just feels horrible. So it wouldn't statistically... It would not change in a statistically significant way the amount of stuff that's being dropped into the game. But it would make people who are being very unlucky just have a slightly better time of it. Sadly, that'll probably never happen. Like, I've gone 10x dry on things before. Thankfully, they weren't very rare things. Like, I've gone over 10x dry on a looting bag before. That was a 1 in 3 drop. Sure, that's only like 30 kills. But when you know it's a 1 in 3 drop and you're still there killing stuff after like 30 plus kills, it starts to get a grind on you a little bit. It's like, statistically, the chances of going 10x dry at anything is incredibly low. It's like if we were to plug those numbers into the dry calc. Where the hell did it go? There you go. It's a 1 in 3 drop. Let's say 30 kills. I think it was 30 something kills. Number of drops obtained thus far is 1. Boom, 99.99% chance of getting more than 1 drop. Yeah. So out of everyone who could have gotten that drop, 0.01% of worth of people wouldn't have got it yet. Like, I needed the damn thing. What was I going to do? Go someplace else and go dry there instead? Like, that's an extremely minor example of going dry on something. Because at least, even though I went horribly, incredibly, extremely unlikely dry on it, it only took like 10 minutes maybe. It's like rage quit and go play a better game territory. Yeah. As a more impactful example of someplace where I ended up going dry. No, I don't want to kill you. I want to kill another skeleton. Anyway, I ended up going dry for pearls at aerial fishing. It's like for the fishing level and hunting level I had when I was doing it, it was like a 1 in 86% chance, or like a 1 in 86 chance to get a pearl for every fish I caught. And I went like 2,500 fish without getting a pearl. Like, that's also a relatively common item, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But also, that was not a very good day. And like, also, I needed 1,000 of these pearls. So sometimes I got them after catching one fish, I would get a pearl. Sometimes after catching 10. Sometimes after catching a couple hundred. Oh, here we got an Aram's rare robe skirt and a Carol's coif in one chest. That is extremely lucky. A double chest like that is very uncommon. I'm not sure what the actual rate is. Unfortunately, it's extremely lucky for an item I don't need. Matter of fact, 2 items I don't need. So, we're going to go drop those over to the main. Also, we caught a crystal impling and got 2 dragon stones. I don't need 2 dragon stones. So I'm going to alch them and turn them into money. All right. There we go. All right. Oh, of course. It's going to take up... Damn it, I should have left that client open. Oh, well. Yeah, I think I ultimately was more or less on rate for pearls overall by the end of the grind. I think I was just like slightly on the dry side for pearls, but not like absurdly so. It was more or less on rate. But some of the individual were not a good time at all. Yeah, I really think they should just make it so that once you go 5x dry on anything, you just get it. Because if we go back to the dry calc here, let's just enter this as 15 kills, aka 5x dry. That would be almost exactly 2% of people would get that. Well, all but 2% would have done better than that, I should say. It'd be like 1.2%, 1.7% chance to get exactly that. Okay, well, it's partially loaded. Let's go hang out in Varrock and hope that we can get the main in, because I need to refill on food anyway, and I don't want to carry these 2 items around. That's gonna be like nearly over 2 mil for the main. It's not half bad. The Aram's robe skirt's pretty valuable. And these items are hardly worth anything to Elk, so it's not like I'm losing money on the UAM. I should go ahead and record them while I'm thinking about it. Okay, that's item 41 at 702. I think that's actually the second double item I've gotten. Yeah, I got a double item at 593. So I'm actually kind of lucky on double items, I'm willing to bet. Okay, anyway. Okay, Coif. And a skirt. Alright. Yeah, I've been keeping a record of every single item I get at Barrows. Just, I don't know, I started doing it. Seemed like a thing that might be interesting, kind of cool. So which item it was, like the first item, second item, third item, and so on. This is just so I don't have to try to count them. I need to know how many items I've gotten. Which I guess I could also tell that by just going here and counting them once again. This is so I don't have to count them. And then what KC I got it at. And then what it was. So I didn't get my first item until 54 KC. Which is not good, by the way. It's a 1 in 14 to get any item here. Could you please connect? And then I got one at 55 immediately thereafter. And then 58. At that point I was like, ooh, yeah, we're on a streak. But it very quickly got worse. And then somewhere in here we were incredibly absurdly dry. And then by here we started slowly becoming less dry. And now we're at 42 out of 700 and something. Okay, let's see. It's 14.57. Number of kills, 702. Drops obtained thus far is now 42. Yeah. 80% chance of getting more drops than what we've currently gotten. So that's not good, but it's not bad either. It could have been worse. And once upon a time was much worse. Things have improved considerably from where they once were. Oh well. Connect to the game. You piece of shit. I don't want this crap in my inventory. And I don't want to drag it all over creation either. Anyway. I have gotten spooned things, so it's not like I always go dry on stuff. For example, this zombie axe, I got it at 69 KC. Exactly. It's like a 1 in 800 and something. So I'm pretty happy with my 69 KC zombie axe. And then later I got, like, I don't know, months, a year later, something like that, I got a zombie slayer task. And just for some reason I decided to go do armored zombies. And I got another zombie axe at 120 KC. So I've been spooned 2 of these damn things. And I'm not even a quarter way to rate for 1. I think I got the teleport crystal more or less on rate. So that's not notable or remarkable. Most of the rest of this stuff isn't really RNG, so. Of things that are in my inventory, there's not a whole lot of spoonage going on here. Come on, damn it. Log in. I wonder if I swap to a different world, if I'd be more... I don't want to try to hop to a different world on this character, just in case it doesn't want to connect. Because if I lose my connection and it decides it doesn't want to reconnect, then I'm going to be very annoyed. We'll try connecting this one to a different server and see if I can world hop. After it fails again anyway. Is there anything I should be doing around Varrock while we wait? I don't really think so. Pretty sure, yeah, I already checked that, so I don't... Oh, we could go to Prif. And I'm pretty sure my crystal tree that we planted yesterday is either grown or getting close. We'll check, yeah, check health crystal tree. We can go get some farming XP. So I hear they're remaking Ragnarok Online. I don't believe I've ever heard of Ragnarok Online. $13,000 XP. Nice. We take those. Go away, you little shit. Okay. I have enough inventory space. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this limpwort. And we might teleport around and pick a few other limpworts while I'm waiting for the... Okay. Give me an ultra compost, please. Give me a limpwort seed. Get rid of that bucket. Okay. Let's see, where would be a convenient place to go? Farming Guild's easy to get to. Yeah, I believe RuneScape Classic, the first versions were like 2001 or something. So, that's pretty contemporary. Okay, Farming Guild. Do I have a Hespori planted at the Farming Guild? Not that I'm going to want to kill one now anyway, because I don't have a Hespori seed to replace it. Yeah, I do have a Hespori. I should probably get another Hespori seed and replant that. Anyway, we're here for the limp birds. Let's finish taking care of the limp bird, and then we're gonna experiment. Okay. Let's go get this crap out of my inventory. Meanwhile, let's pick... Oh, of course, it's going to take forever to load the world's... No, maybe not. Okay. Let's pick a random-ass European world. Yeah. I don't know why I expected that to work any better. I was hoping maybe get a different route or something and it might make it, but... Okay, let's go to Ferox, put these in the looting bag. Boom. And then let's go to the Champions Guild and let's pick the white berries there. I need to remember to pick those more often because I need those white berries to get rid of some of the herbs in my looting bag. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Well, we might just end up doing burrows with crud in our inventory. So it's not a very good way to get XP, but you can leave a bush planted and it will regrow its berries. And so I have a whiteberry bush planted here and I have another one planted south of Ardoin. Which I'm trying to think of what the best way to get there would be. The laziest way to get there is just take the spirit tree. The best way is probably Fairy Ring. Well, the best way is to take the Ardoin cloak. But I don't have one of those on me right now. Actually, it might be better to use the canoe station to get here. No, because you've been on the wrong side of the river. Anyway. I need like 1,000 of these pieces of shit. Literally. I think I was talking about it yesterday a little bit. Collecting secondaries like this is one of the many reasons why herblore on UIM in particular is painful. Although it wouldn't be so bad if my inventory wasn't so damn full. Alright, 20 some from 2 bushes, not too bad. How many catatines do I have again? 852. And I already have 170 white berries. So this gets us to like 200 white berries. So I need like 600 more of them. That'll take a little while. Okay, remember to pick my whiteberry bushes every day, though. That'll add up really fast. And I can pick them more than once a day. Alright, back to Ferox to put the whiteberries in the bag, too. Another one of those things I could avoid doing if I just had a little bit more space. Oh well. Still hasn't timed out. Alright. Well, we're not getting the main in here today, so... Or not right now, anyway. So let's go unnote some shark and cook them and head back to Burrows. I could run around and plant more limpworts and stuff, but I'm only going to do the more convenient to reach ones for now. I'm just going to keep trying to log the main in until we get in. Okay. Back to Burrows. So that was a really nice double drop, obviously. Hopefully we get a back-to-back. No, dark in the tunnels. Okay. Yeah, getting spoon stuff is always nice, of course. But another kind of dry protection that some stuff in RuneScape is getting nowadays. For example, the Yama duo boss, he drops fairly commonly Oathplate shards. Oathplate being the main armor he drops, and the thing that everybody is there mostly to get is a set of Oathplate. And he also drops pieces of Oathplate armor. If you get duplicate pieces of armor, you can break them down into shards. And then if you have enough shards, you can use them to smith a piece of oathplate armor through a somewhat involved process. So you get the shard drops often enough that generally you really won't go too dry. And if you're going dry on a particular piece of armor, which is how such things usually go, then it won't take terribly long before you can just craft whichever piece you're missing from the shards. So that's a pretty good system as far as such things go. It'd be really cool if you could break Barrow's armor down into Barrow's shards. And then smith Barrow's pieces you were missing. Because since I only need a very specific set that I don't care about green logging, I would almost certainly have enough pieces I could have made a spear by now. But anyway. It feels like every time they add a new piece of equipment, or not new piece of equipment, but every time they add a new bit of content where it drops useful equipment that is actually like a major upgrade, and it's quite rare, they put some kind of at least pseudo dry protection on it nowadays. Some of them are more successful than others. Some of them are just like really badly designed. But they've been slowly getting better over time. Really nothing that I'm working on now is that rare. There are some bosses that drop absurdly uncommon stuff. Ow, I didn't quite get my prayer up in time. They have very rare drops, and there's no dry protection whatsoever. And so you could be there for thousands and thousands of kills. And so people just don't do those bosses generally. Because there's no way it's worth it. Or at least don't do them very commonly. So a great example is Nightmare. It has a bunch of drops. Some of them are very rare. And none of them are like incredibly important. So it's just not done very often. Like people who have nothing better to do with their lives will do it. And then there's some people who just really like the boss and they'll do it. But most people just skip Nightmare until way late in their account's progression because the chances that you will just not get what you're looking for in any reasonable amount of time is way too high. And worse, aside from its valuable unique items, the boss doesn't really drop anything good. It's like if the boss dropped large amounts of valuable supplies or something, or even just moderate amounts of valuable supplies, people would probably still do the boss just for its secondary drops and be happy if they got a unique. Or it would at least make them happier. Like here, going dry, I mean, it sucks, but also it's not that bad at the end of the day because I'm getting rune drops. And those runes are valuable. They're worth a lot of money if I want to sell them to a shop or something. And if I want to keep them and use them, they're extremely useful. So it really wouldn't be, I mean, it would suck, but it wouldn't be that horrible to be here for like 1,000 kills, 1,500 kills. Or more. Obviously, the higher that number gets, the worse it gets, but it's like I've only been here 700 kills. So I'm not even quite technically on the expected rate for what I'm looking for, depending on how you look at it. Or like the new boss that was just added with the new quest that came out a couple days ago, yesterday, whatever it was. I think it was added yesterday. Anyway, it has a couple of unique items that are pretty cool. One's a 1 in 300 and the other is a 1 in 500. But the other things it drops aside from those unique items are just trash. It can rarely drop some good stuff, but most commonly it'll just drop trash. And tiny amounts of trash too. No one wants that shit. And so the expected value that you'll get out of killing that boss is very low. Which means people are doing it right now because it's new and because they want the new rare item. But after that, it's not going to take that long before people hardly do the boss. I about guarantee it. Unless they improve that drop table pretty quick. Because the only reason to do it is going to be for its uniques and the occasional rare other good drop. And unless you get lucky on getting the uniques, you're not going to, like, mains aren't going to make enough money at that boss to make it worthwhile for them. And irons obviously aren't going to trade their stuff away unless they really, really want the item you get there. Like one of them is an upgrade for an existing necklace, ranged necklace, that gives you a little tiny bit more damage. Mostly inconsequential. Sure, it's an upgrade, but it's not an incredibly important one. And the other thing it drops is an admittedly very cool weapon, but it's not exactly an important or useful one. I shouldn't say it's not important or useful. It is useful some places, but it's not like... It's a spec weapon. It's So it's used for its special attack. It's not used as an actual main weapon. So it's already a bit niche, and that just makes it even more niche. I need to kill a bloodworm. I missed one somewhere along the line. So we just walk in and out of these doors until a bloodworm spawns. Give me a worm. Ah. Oh, come on. There we go, finally. Alright. And we got a few runes. Okay. Sure, whatever. Let's try logging the main in again. I'd really like to get these items out of my inventory. We gotta go fill up on Shark again. Matter of fact, not only do I need to go fill up on Shark, but I'm running out of Shark, so I'm gonna have to go get more of them eventually if I want to keep using them. Otherwise, I'll have to go back to using potatoes from the Warriors Guild, which Warriors Guild potatoes are cheap. They're easy and fast to get. But they're not really a very good source of food. They're fine. They're good enough. But the Shark are much nicer because they require me to go get food less often. So I'll probably end up doing some minnows or something and getting a few hundred Shark out of the deal. Because like earlier I had less than 200 I think Shark, and they've lasted me for quite a while. Sure, we're only down to 14 Shark right now, but it took a while to get there. All right. Yeah, I really want to max this account. Getting max magic, that's just going to happen along the way. So I don't really have to worry about that. Max combats, it's pretty much all the same way. We'll get those eventually just by playing the game. And if not, I can always just go beat the crab up for a little bit and get there whenever I want. Rune crafting is a good way to make money, even out of iron. Make like blood runes and sell them. And it's fairly chill if you do like Zaya rune crafting. So I'll probably end up doing a bunch of Zaya rune crafting at some point. Bloods and souls. And then likely sell the runes, at least some of them. I can't do that till I hit level 77 though. I gotta go to Guardians of the Rift to get the full outfit anyway, and I'll probably be pretty close to 77 by the time I have the outfit. So rune crafting is just a matter of grinding the skill out. Construction needs a lot of money. I'll get that through rune crafting for sure. unless I get it before from something else. And then it's just a matter of doing about 3,000 Mahogany Homes contracts. We calculated that earlier on stream. Because that got some nice rewards. So I'll probably do that as soon as I get the money. And don't have anything better to do. Like, you say only 3,000, but like, okay, that's a big number, but also you just start working on it, and next thing you know, you're down to only 2,000. And you keep working on it, and next thing you know, you only have 1,000. And then one day you're done. And then you have your construction cape, and you can teleport to your house anytime you want. For free. And I can get rid of this Eternal Teleport Crystal and use that instead. This word only, I do not think it means what you think it means. Hey, it could be more than that. Level 85, which is the level I'm at right now, is a quarter of the way there. So I've already done a quarter of the grind, effectively. I just need to do it 3 more times. And sure, it took me a couple days to get there. But that wasn't that bad. A couple weeks and boom, we're done. There's a definitive end date. You know exactly how much you need to do. That's why skilling is better than PVM. But anyway. Hit points, so I'll obviously just come right along with the combats. Agility. I'm only 77 agility, which agility is kind of slow skill to train. But it's fairly chill if you do rooftops. That's just a matter of running around in circles for many hours. I would really like to farm out all the graceful recolors. Or most of them anyway. And so just the process of doing that will get a lot of agility. Herblore. Annoying pain in the ass. That's gonna end up getting to the high 80s. Which is not that far away, but... doing a lot of farming and shit to get my level up and then do coral. Tons and tons of coral. Which requires a lot of preparation and isn't terribly fast, but that's probably going to be one of the last skills I finish leveling up all the way to 99. Thieving, I'm almost there already. I'm at 97, almost 98 already. The only reason I'm not 99 thieving already is because I've been holding off on doing it. Because I need to do Pyramid Plunder to get a Pharaoh's Scepter. And so I've just been kind of avoiding leveling thieving anymore so I don't waste a ton of XP from that grind. Whenever I get around to it. Crafting sucks. It's almost as bad as Herblore. But once again, it's just a matter of going to go do it. Glass blowing is slow, but steady and cheap XP, so it's not going to cost a huge amount of money or anything to do it. There's various other things that can be done for faster XP. There's a new minigame coming out before too long that should be crafting focused. That might not be too bad. We'll have to see. Fletching. I can just do Veil Totems to 99. That won't be bad at all. Sure, it'll take a long time, but also it's just do Veil Totems. No big deal. Slayer sucks. Yeah, that'll probably be one of the last skills I get to 99. Probably before Herblore, though. Hunter is easy. I'm a 94 Hunter already. Just do Master Rumors until 99. Won't be that big of a deal. 92 Mining, that's halfway to 99 already. I just need to go mine Amethyst or something to 99. That's kind of the plan. I kind of want to just mine Amethyst to 99 and cut them into arrow tips. And then just have a giant stack of Amethyst arrow tips I can use later. That'll also raise my crafting some. Although not to 99. 75 smithing. That's just a matter of having enough money. And then going smith big sword at Giant's Foundry until 99. Not that big of a deal. Fishing. That can be AFK to 99 without too much trouble. Cooking. It depends on how I do my fishing. I could get a lot of that from... Could get a lot of cooking levels from my fishing if I do Temperos instead of AFK it. I could also get some stuff to cook from my Hunter grind. I could just do wines, any number of things like that. That's not that big of a deal. Just your simple everyday scaling. I'm ready 99 fire making. Wood cutting. Trivial. Click tree. Wait till number says 99. Fairly slow, but not hard. Lots of AFK. Farming. 85 farming now. Farming's a little bit annoying. The fastest ways to level farming is like tree runs and stuff. To do that, you need to get tree seeds, which sucks. But eventually you'll get 99 farming just purely off the back of getting 99 Herblore. Probably. And if not, it's not that big of a deal to just do other things. You can always do tithe farm, worst case. But generally, over time, eventually you'll just get 99 farming on your own. Just from doing herb runs and stuff. It's not really something you have to grind out specifically. And then, of course, sailing. Sailing is just a matter of doing minor columns. Oh, doing trials until 99. It's reasonably fast XP per hour. And whenever I get tired of trials, I can just go do AFK salvaging or something. Now that UIMs have the same cargo hold as everyone else, AFK salvage is not that big of a deal. I would need to outfit a boat for it, but sure, outfitting a boat on a UIM is more of a pain in the ass than it is for most people, but a salvage boat's not that big of a deal. I will want higher smithing, probably, so I can make like a rune hooks and stuff like that, but it'll make it easier to upgrade my boat. So really the only skills that are going to be a serious problem are Herblore, Slayer, mostly because I don't like it, and because Slayer is just a slow skill in the first place. Agility because it's a slow skill. Runecraft because it's a slow skill, although I'll make a lot of money doing it. And that's crafting, I guess. Everything else will be pretty easy. A lot of time. A lot of time. It'll probably take me years to actually max this character, but So find it funny that burning wood is a skill. Yeah, they had some weird skills back in the early days. And they've stuck around ever since. Like fire making, they were clearly just scraping their mind for just like, what could I do as a skill? And that somebody thought, oh yeah, make fires to cook food on. Not useful. Thankfully, it's fast to train. Particularly nowadays with winter taught, it's not that bad. Took a few days to bang that out. If I was ever dumb enough to go to 200 mil on a skill, that would be by far the easiest one. I don't know why you'd ever want to, but... You can get a Phoenix pet from Winter Taught. That's pretty cool, I guess. If I wanted to go back there and try to grind that out. Just doesn't seem worth it, though. And if I was a skiller, that would be the only way I could get a zombie, not zombie axe, a dragon axe. Which is the best woodcutting axe in the game. Well, it's not the best woodcutting axe in the game, but it is a component for the best woodcutting axe in the game. It's required to have the best woodcutting axe in the game. And can be used to make the crystal axe, which is the best. Depending on how you define best, though. One way or another, if you want a really good woodcutting axe, better than a rune axe, you are going to have to either do Dagonoth Kings, who drop it. That's where I got my dragon axe. Or you're going to have to get it as a 1 in 10,000 drop from Winter Taught. Speaking of places that really suck to go dry at. A 1 in 10,000 drop. There's people who have over 200 mil firemaking XP and no dragon eggs. And they're not even incredibly dry, they're just dry. But it's not really the intended way you're supposed to get that drop. It's just kind of... It was added as a very rare and painful way to get it for people who don't want to do the normal way. So I'm kind of okay with that being like a really shitty rate with no dry protection. Because the normal way to get it is like a 1 in 40 drop. And you can save spot one of the bosses that drops it relatively easily. Is it a 1 in 40 or is it like a even... It's pretty common. I should look up exactly what its rate is. We'll do that after we loot this chest here. And got some crappy runes, okay. Let's see. Dragon Axe. Well. Load. There we go. All right. Yeah, 1 in 10,000 from Wintertot. It's a 1 in 128. Okay. So I got spooned my Dragon Axe a bit because I got it like 30-some kills in. Which, that's pretty spooned, but not absurdly spooned. But you can, Dagonoth Rex can be safe spotted quite easily. You can get 40 or 50 kills a trip. It's a real pain to get to him, but once you're there and once you're set up, it's pretty easy to stay there for a long time. So I'd like to get a second Dragon Axe. I really need to go back for a second one. But having a full set of Guthan's armor when I go back there will really make it a lot easier. Which is one reason why I'm farming this out. Because I would kind of like to go back to Dagonoth Kings and farm that out. I'm going to repair my armor. Because why not? Okay. Beautiful, fully repaired Guthan's armor. The reason why Guthan's is good there is because it's tank armor. And you're attacked the whole time you're there by minions that do range damage and poison you. So you'll take chip damage the whole time. But the higher your defense against range, obviously, the less chip damage you'll take. And then with Guthan's, you can equip the spear in between kills while you're waiting for Rex to respawn. And you can attack the minions to get your health back. So you just need to bring a whole ton of anti-poison, a little tiny bit of food, and Guthan's. And then you just sip anti-poison on cooldown and smack Rex around until you run out of anti-poison and have to leave. Spend an hour or two there, no problem. Get a whole ton of kills. The Dragon Axe at 128, not that big of a deal. Also, the real reason I'd want to go back to Rex is not necessarily for a second Dragon Axe, although I would very much like one. The real reason I want to go back there is because he also drops... where the hell is it? The Berserker Ring here, which is also a 1 in 128 drop. The Berserker Ring has strength bonus on a ring, so it's a really good melee ring. And I'd like to replace my Ring of Wealth with it. Be a nice upgrade for my account. And it's not that rare or hard to get. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Split bark armor. I need to get some pieces of that, actually. Like, not right now, but soon. I'm gonna have to go get some. Once I get a Rune Heraldic Shield. Which is a clue item that I need. Because I've got a stash unit. I've got stuff in my inventory, in my bag, that goes in that stash unit. But anyway, I've got stuff that goes into a stash unit in my bag. And I'm going to need split bark and a rune heraldic shield, I think. Split bark body. Which I already made some split bark pieces to go in other stash units. Unfortunately, it doesn't just require the bark from the trees in Mauritania, but it also requires a fine cloth, I believe it's called, that can be acquired only from Shades of Morton. So I'll have to go do more Shades of Morton too before incredibly long, depending on, well, unless I just don't get a Rune Heraldic Shield for a long time, which would suck a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I do like Shades of Morton. It is fun content. I just don't have any reason to do it on this account right now. And plenty of reasons not to. Now, if I was playing on a Banky, I would be much more willing to just go do it and soak whatever resources I got out of it into the bank and leave them there until I needed them. But on a UIM, you have to sometimes just not do things you want to do because you're not set up to deal with the consequences of them. They drop things you can't use right now or whatever. Which is unfortunate, but that's probably one of the only major downsides of playing UIM, I guess. Overall, I really enjoy playing this account. In some ways, I almost want to start another UIM, because I really enjoyed the early game a lot more than I do this part of it. But there's still plenty of fun things to do, and I do want to max UIM, so. And if I do start a new account, it'll probably just be a normal iron. Because I would like to have a normal iron in addition to my main and my UIM. But I also should probably max my main. So maybe that will be the next mission after maxing the UIM in a few years. Because I'm under no illusion that I'm going to max the UIM like in a year or something like that. Just because Hebox John can do it doesn't mean I can. He's one of the guys who does account speedruns. Because there's like a small group of people who do full account speedruns to max. So like a few years ago, okay, we're at 86%. And we got crap. Alright, anyway, a few years ago, he and JCW were racing to see who could get the fastest Maxscape speedrun. Just straight up Maxscape. And then after that, JCW went on and did an Iron speedrun. Speedrun to Max and Iron Man. And I don't think Hebox did an iron speedrun. Instead, he did an ultimate iron speedrun. Something like that. Which, yeah. If I remember correctly, I don't think he started it. But I know Hebox was talking about doing a another max speedrun. Apparently this game also has a randomizer. No idea how it works, but it does. Like task lock account, I think is probably what you're referring to. Oh, of course the plugin hub isn't going to work for shit because there's a guy named Toxic Woman, or maybe it's a chick. Anyway, task man mode. Let's see if I can load up the page for it. Yeah, there's a mode where it's got like collection logs, stuff like that. It's unofficial, but all the collection logs and similar things are split into tasks, and you roll a random task. You do just the minimum you need to complete your task, and then you roll another task, and you do just the minimum you need to do that task, and so on, until you run out of tasks to do. Oh, there's all kinds of crazy ways people play this game. One really popular way that, or at least popular with YouTubers, are what they call one chunk men. Like over here on the map, you can see really well. You see how square everything is? Particularly right here on the fight arena in Tree Gnome Village, you can really see, boom, squares. Square. A square. Anyway, because, and yeah, like here, another square. Boom. Square. Square. Second square. 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 Each of those square segments is called a chunk. And that's actually how the map is loaded. Each of these 64 tile by 64 tile regions. The whole map is split up into these regions. A lot of places you can't really tell very well because they just kind of made the map and then split it into chunks afterwards as a technical restriction limitation. But over here in this section of the map, they had kind of, the game was expanding very quickly, and so what they did is they put a couple, like a map designer or whatever, they'd give him a section of map and say, design some content to go in this chunk of map. Off you go, have fun. And so there was usually very little consistency between regions in this area, which is why you basically have a grid right here, because they just kind of made whatever and stuffed it in. Interesting little historical artifact. Now, if you go over to like the more modern parts of the map, where are the chunk boundaries? Who the hell knows? Because this was designed much more consistently instead of being designed around the chunk system. Although you can still tell where some chunks are. Like right here, Prif is made up of 4 chunks. And so if you kind of follow those lines, you realize the Fremenic Isles here are probably made up of 4 chunks as well. Some stuff like that. But anyway, what chunk men do is they will pick a starting chunk and they'll do all content within that chunk. Every single thing you could possibly do without leaving that chunk. And then once they've completed everything, they will randomly roll an adjacent chunk. And then they'll go to that chunk and do everything you could possibly do inside that chunk, using the resources that are in that chunk and their other chunks. And they'll just keep doing that, adding one chunk at a time onto their allowed area as they run out of things to do, basically. So that's one very popular way. There's various levels to it. Like Limpwort, for example, is one of the people who really pioneered the idea of the extreme one chunk. He started in Lumbridge, and he does everything, like actually everything, including skill capes. So there's a couple skill capes you can get in Lumbridge. The defense skill cape, the woodcutting skill cape. I think that's it that you can get here. So he got both of those skill capes before ever leaving Lumbridge. Cutting just whatever trees were available here to 99. He killed just random citizenry to get 99 defense. Literally hundreds of thousands of man and woman NPCs. He's had some really awful grinds. There's a quest that you can do called Rune Mysteries that unlocks the ability to go to the Rune Essence mine and get runic essence and some stuff like that. Limpwort has gotten 99 rune crafting without having Rune Mysteries. So he got all the rune essence he needed to do that from killing monsters and getting small, a few rune essence at a time drops. And then because he was relatively limited to this area of the map, he had to do some really ass level experience per hour methods anyway. Yeah, that guy is not normal. Although, if you want to see some very good content, Limpwort, his videos are very good. He has, as he will say, high levels of weaponized autism. But anyway. Particularly a lot of his older videos. A lot of the newer ones too, for that matter. Although not every one. He'll start out, last time on this shit. They're very good. Go watch them. But anyway. I don't think there's anyone more extreme than that, but there's lots of people that are less extreme than that. Like there's some people who will do everything except skill capes, for example, or they'll do everything, but they'll have a cutoff point where if a drop is more than a certain rarity or something, they won't require it, or things like that. So there's various levels of sanity to that. There's a whole external program you can use to help roll chunks and know what tasks are available on a chunk, with just tons of options you can pick for what rule set you want to use. And then of course there's your classic area locked accounts. Good old Swampletics, for example. Settled's Mauritania series, where he just everything you could do in Mauritania. Not everything, but restricted only to leaving Mauritania, not leaving Mauritania. His end goal, I believe, was completing the Theater of Blood, which is the raid here, using only Mauritania stuff. That's of course, a very famous series. But there's also been like a Kramja locked. I think it was Verf who did that series. Kramja locked and finished by doing the Inferno. That's a very good series as well. Like obviously people do that kind of area locked stuff without having a YouTube series, but a lot of people are inspired by one YouTuber's thing or another. Like there's plenty of people who play chunk accounts, for example, who don't have a YouTube series about it. They just do it because they like playing a chunk account. Same with Task Lock. That was originally created for a YouTube series, but now there's tons of people who play Taskers. It's about every kind of weird set of restrictions you can imagine. There's probably somebody who does it somewhere. And they're probably more degenerate about it than you could ever imagine as well. Oh well. Like originally Iron Man, just the Iron Man game mode, which about a third of active players are Iron Men now. But originally that was a just self-imposed set of restrictions. Matter of fact, Ultimate Iron Man was originally before official Iron Man was added. Before official Iron Man mode was added. There were a few people who were playing no bank Iron Man. Like the Iron Man tutor that you would meet on Tutorial Island, who tells you, he lets you make an Iron Man out of your account. And there's another one in Lumbridge who lets you do some Iron Man related stuff. Both of those are named after streamers who helped popularize the Iron Man mode. And if you choose to play an Ultimate Iron Man, it'll call out. It'll tell you the mode was inspired by Iron No Bank, who was one of the early UIM player. Anyway, there's all kinds of weirdos who play this game. And then there's perfectly sensible people like me. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. No, I'm perfectly sensible, Treebeard. I'm not autistic. I will have you know. Or at least not by any measurable amount. Well, okay. At least not by any amount that would cause me to be measured. There we go. It is 10:30 though, so I think I'm probably going to call it here. Unfortunately, you bastards got me talking about random bullshit, so we didn't get quite as many KC as I had originally planned. But yeah, I have logged out, so one way or another we're ending there, because I don't think I'm going to be able to log back in. Man, these internet problems really suck. But anyway, hopefully they go away by tomorrow. If they don't, I'm going to be very displeased. I was happy, though, that when I tried to start stream, it did start right up. So tomorrow, I do believe will be Thursday, and that means we'll be playing Zoo Tycoon. So that does not require internet. So as long as I continue to be able to connect to Twitch without pain and suffering, that should go off without a hitch. Yeah. Friday, of course, will hopefully, assuming we don't have problems with that, be EDF. And then Saturday and Sunday. Oh, what did I decide I was going to do those games? Have I decided what I was going to do those days? Oh, apparently the 2.1 experimental release for Friday or Factorio is out now. Interesting. I should play more Factorio, especially now that they're releasing another patch soon. You know what? How about no? I have too many things going right now. But soon. Yeah, I haven't heard anything that would indicate that a Turing Complete patch should be out by then. I kind of doubt it would. And I haven't heard anything about Timberborn either. So who knows? Maybe we'll just pick something random. I believe Saturday is the July 4th anyway. So who knows what we'll do. I don't think I have anything overly patriotic to play. Not really. But anyway. Whatever we do Saturday, we'll probably do Sunday as well. And then, of course, Monday, which if I'm still having internet problems by then, I'm going to be extremely displeased. So hopefully Crab Champions will go off without a hitch. And then next Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll see. I don't imagine that we're going to play like too much more RuneScape. That's not really particularly just doing random shit well, not random shit, but borrows like I am doing. It's boring for me and you to stream it, honestly. I just wanted to get some KC in, catch up to where I'm supposed to be. And I didn't really feel like trying to figure out what else I wanted to do, so I was being lazy more than anything else. But next week, I'll pick something more permanent for the midweek slot. Unless I don't. Oh, well. For tonight, though, let's see. Is anyone streaming anything on the old follow list? It does not appear so. Okay. Well, then, I don't think we'll raid anybody. We had a pretty good run of being able to raid people every day for a while there. I guess it won't hurt too badly to not one night. Hopefully, I see you all back here tomorrow for some good old zoo shenaniganery. And I will see you all later. Good night and goodbye.